Greetings, students. Today we're going to discuss practice test 2-3. Let's begin. Question 1. Find the distance. Distance is equal to the square root of the change in x, 5 minus 0 squared, plus the change in y, negative 4 minus negative 1 squared. So 5 minus 0 is 5. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. 5 squared is 25. 3 squared is 9. This is the square root of 34. Which is 17 times 2, but that does not reduce because 17 and 2 are neither one of them is a perfect square. All right, find the other endpoint given the midpoint and the first endpoint. So if we start at negative 9 and our midpoint's at positive 9, that is an increase for my x value of 18. So my endpoint x value will be 9 plus 18. In other words, it will be 27. For my y values, if I start at 1 and my midpoint's at 7, they have had an increase of 6. So my y value endpoint will be at 7 plus 6, 13. Very easy to verify your work. 7 is halfway between 1 and 13. It's 6 above 1 and 6 below 13. And 9 is halfway between 27 and negative 9. 27 minus 18 is 9. 9 minus 18 is negative 9. Question 3. These are equivalent because they're alternate interior angles. And the lines are parallel. So I'll take negative 4 plus 13x, equivalent in value to 12x plus 6. Taking 12x from 13x yields 1x. So negative 4 plus a single x equals 6. Adding 4 to 6 yields 10. Therefore, x must be 10. Question 4. Consecutive interior angles are supplementary, so I'll add these up. That will make 32x minus 12. And that will set that equal to 180. 12 plus 180 is 192. And 32 divided into 192 is 12. Question 5 and 6. These are exterior angle theorem questions. So when the exterior angle is given, we subtract the interior angle to get the remaining interior angle. So that question mark will be 130 minus 70. Or in other words, that question mark will be 60 on this diagram. On this diagram, when we're looking for the exterior angle, we're going to add the two interior angles, the remote interior angles. 50 and 75 is 125. What I do to remember this is if I'm looking for the angle outside the triangle, I add the two interior angles. And if I'm looking for the angle inside the triangle, I subtract the exterior and the interior angle. Again, this is with the exterior angle theorem when we have an exterior angle either given or when we're looking for one. All right, next questions at the bottom here. 7 through 10. Triangle sum theorem on number 7 and 8. So each triangle always adds to 180 total. So I'll take 80 and I'll add 50 to it. That's 130 so far. Meaning that the missing angle must be 50 because 180 minus 130 is 50 in value. Question 8, I'll do the same thing. I'll take 80 plus 50. I'll get 130. And I'll subtract that from 180. 180 minus 130 is equivalent in value to 50. This has two extra steps because I'm looking for an x instead of just the angle. So this angle is 50. Because I'm looking for an x here, I will have 59 plus x equals 50. And then taking 59 from 50 will yield my finished answer, negative 9. All right, classify by sides and by angles. So we're going to call this one acute because all the angles are less than 90. And because all the sides are different, we're going to call it scalene. We're going to call this one obtuse because one of the angles is bigger than 90, or between 90 and 180, more appropriately said. And isosceles because two of the sides have the same measurement. Isosceles. And sometimes I do spell that word wrong, so don't take my spelling for gospel there. Sometimes I spell that word wrong. All right, 11 through 18. These are the same as they've been the past couple weeks, the slope of a line questions. Again, with these, you can save yourself some work rather than solving for y by just dividing the coefficients of x and y when you're looking for slope. So here the coefficient of x is a 1, but there's no y variable. So I have here 1 divided by 0, which is undefined. My slope is undefined. Again, I don't write 1 divided by 0 when I'm writing this on the test, but I think of 1 divided by 0 because the coefficient of x is 1 and then there's no y. Anyway, I don't usually write that part of my test. I just write the word undefined. That's what I'm looking for. Here, the coefficient of y is a 1. The coefficient of x is a 4. So 4 divided by 1. That's my slope. Or simply 4. That way. Here, the coefficient of y is a 1, but there's no x. So I have coefficient of x is 0, because there's no x, divided by 1. Again, I don't usually write this. I write 0. That's what I'm looking for on the test as well. Here, the coefficient of x is negative 1/4, and the coefficient of y is 1. So negative 1/4 divided by 1 is negative 1/4. I don't write the divide by 1 here because when you divide by 1, it keeps the number the same. And it's not useful if you're dividing by 1, it's not useful to write it that way if it's a fraction already. Here, it's kind of useful because slope is rise term on number 12. All right, here, coefficient of x is a 1, coefficient of y is a 4th. So this has a slope of 1/4. Because x is on the left instead of the right side of the equation, the slope is negative. Because x is on the wrong side of the equation, negative 1/4. Here, the coefficient of x is a 4, coefficient of y is a 1. So that's 4 to 1, and again, it's negative because coefficient of x is on the wrong side. So I have to negate that. So it's negative 4 to 1. So I'm looking for slopes that are the same. Well, 15 and 14 are the same. That's parallel. I'm looking for slopes that are perpendicular. Well, undefined and 0 are perpendicular, horizontal and vertical in other words. So 11 and 13. And then when you flip a fraction and negate it, it beats perpendicular. So if I'm looking at this 4, when it flips, it becomes negative 1/4. So these two would be perpendicular. And these two as well. So actually there's two answers that could go here. So there's 12 and 14. And there's also 12 and 15. That could go there. That's perpendicular. All right, complete each congruent statement by naming the corresponding angle or side. So H goes with, and again, we're looking at this H here in the statement. H is equal to S, because it's in the same spot as S. So angle H is equal to angle S, is what I'm looking for here. WY is equal to, it's in the same spot as U and T. U and T, segment UT. All right, next one. Write a statement that indicates the triangles are congruent. So I'm looking for congruent statements. So here, the triangles are what are called adjacent or abutting. Adjacent would be a better word. So I'm looking at these and I'm looking for which angles goes with which angles. I should do one of them alphabetical, doesn't matter. So maybe I should do this one U, V, W. Alphabetical. U, V, W. And then I'm looking at this other triangle next to it. So U goes with itself because they both have 2 tick marks. Now on the test, if they don't both have 2 tick marks, you might have to switch the statement around. So you might have to look and see, oh, this one has the 2 tick marks, so it's going to go with U on the other triangle. But here, both the U's have 2 tick marks on both the triangles, the abutting triangles. So U goes with itself, W goes with itself, and V goes with Z. So this is going to be U, Z, W. All right, state if the 2 triangles are congruent, and if they are, state which theorem it is. So we have the 2 of the theorems listed here, side, 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 angle, side. The other 2 theorems are angle, angle, side, and angle, side, angle. So I'm looking at this one, we have a single side and an angle labeled. So we don't have congruence here because we have to have 3 items either labeled or we have to be able to label 3 items to appropriately do any of the congruence theorems. So because I can't label a 3rd item here on either triangle, on both the triangles, these are not congruent. Not congruent. And what I mean by not congruent is they can't be shown to be congruent. They can't be proven to be congruent. We can't prove it because we can't label a 3rd side or a 3rd angle as congruent here. Whereas on 23, because the angle in the middle is shared, it's vertical, so it's got to be the same on the left and the right. That one can be shown to be congruent by angle, side, angle. Again, here the side is between the 2 angles. We've got the 2 angles here with a side between them. So state if the triangles are congruent, yes. And if they are, state how you know. Angle, side, angle congruence. All right, here I've got this angle of 90, which again is vertical to this angle here. So this is also congruence because I got a side, and an angle in between. So this is side, angle, side. Again, I got 2 sides with the angle in between, or the angle that joins the 2 sides. Side, angle, side. 2 sides with the angle that joins them. So that's yes, and it's side, angle, side. Here I can label the 3rd side as congruent to itself by the reflexive property of congruence, or reflexive property of equality. Anything is equal to itself. So that is also yes, because I have 3 sides labeled as congruent. Triple side congruence, core side, side, side congruence. So I got 25 questions here. I intend to make them worth 4 points each, as that makes it 100 even. Makes it even 100 points. If you have questions, come in Thursday or after school. I'll be in my portable. Good luck.